noticed it yet. I think at this point now he's got to notice that his troops are, and there he is with the scan, and he's going to take care of that DT. I think that DT might be just a little too late, and now Nada is responding with those missile turrets, taking care of business. And look at this, ReSpONSe came into his base, and look at that. There was a DTs in the base, 2 DTs in the base, taking care of these SCVs, chopping them up, and staying on this orbital command here, and he's even warping in more DTs in the base to take care of this. And this might actually be extremely devastating if Nada doesn't respond to it somehow. ReSpONSe playing very smart with these sneaky DTs in his base and causing, look at this, causing Nada to pull all of his forces back. And this might be exactly what ReSpONSe needed, just the time to rebuild up his forces, the time to be able to do something to respond to this. But these missile turrets are going down very quickly, and if either of these missile turrets is able to finish, and there's a scan able to take care of that, DT. But this DT continuing to drill on these supply depots, more DTs being warped in, and even a sentry being warped in here. I'm not sure exactly what this sentry is here for. Maybe just to scout a little bit for the DTs. I'm not sure exactly. Ooh, but there they go, getting taken out once again. An EMP. It was not a very smartly using an EMP to reveal that Dark Templar as EMP. A lot of people, it's a very underused ability to remove. It removes cloaking, and it's very useful to use not only against DTs but against Banshees, against even an observer. An annoying observer comes to your base. It costs 75 energy, so basically you don't have to waste what would be about 400 minerals of a scan, as that's what you get from the mule. So keep that in mind. I mean, you kill their observer, but is it really worth it? In my opinion, no, it's not. So here we got a couple of DTs for defense, but this will not be enough. I think that Nada will be able to push in and take out ReSpONSe's base completely, even with these DTs attacking him. And he can just kind of let them. ReSpONSe being very smart. Look at this, splitting up his DTs. A lot of players like to throw all their DTs at an enemy at once, but you got to keep in mind that DTs are extremely powerful damage-wise, but they're extremely weak armor and shield-wise. They don't have a lot of health, and so if you throw them at a Terran player one by one, you force him to use the energy for scans. But once again, at this point, Nada doesn't care. He does not need the extra minerals. He has the superior force, and it doesn't matter what DTs are doing in his base right now. He has just completely taken out the base of ReSpONSe. ReSpONSe throwing all of his workers at the force of Nada, and at this point, I mean, Nada has just taken the island, and I'll be expecting the GG extremely soon from ReSpONSe. And at this point, not rebuild his base. You got to think Nada was thinking for a second there. Maybe he built another base. Maybe he did something, and I don't know what ReSpONSe is doing here. He's trying to warp in a new base. I really think at this point that it is game over, and ReSpONSe has got to know that it is game over. And he just doesn't want to let go of this win at this point. But it does look like at this point we will be moving on to a game 3. ReSpONSe here he is again, moving around with this DT, trying to do some damage. And there goes the scan, and he's going to try to run away from the scan, but unable to. And there goes down the last DT. Let's check the units tab real quick. And there are no DTs left on the field. There is 1 sentry and 15 probes compared to this massive army of 15 Marauders and 18 Marines of Nada. Nada is on 2 bases, although neither one is really mining that much, as a massive amount of SCVs was indeed lost, although most of them went on the attack apparently. So, and looks like this 1 sentry is just trying to hold the ramp, but now no longer able to hold the ramp. The base will go down, but look at this ReSpONSe continuing to try to build bases, and finally ReSpONSe with the GG, yo. I definitely do not like this play from ReSpONSe. I think that was bad manners of ReSpONSe to continue this. You see a lot of this in the ladder matches, but this is a pro match, and I know that players don't want to forfeit the game, and maybe ReSpONSe felt like, hey, you know, I did so much damage with the DTs in the base, you know, and I forced this to lift off, and all he has left is this base, and if I can just build my base and start rebuilding. But he had all these production buildings still, and ReSpONSe had no production buildings. All of his production buildings were destroyed. He did not have an expansion up, and he was still trying to hold on for dear life. So I don't think it was purposeful bad manners on his part, but definitely, I definitely think he should have given the GG probably about a minute earlier than he did. But that being said, these are some pretty exciting matches, and I'm glad that I started casting them. And so let's get right into game 3 and see how this wraps up.